Hey, what's good, champions? Arian, Tyson here. Listen, I wanted to shoot this video because for the last couple days, I've been talking about some pivotal, invaluable lessons that my late grandmother taught me. And I've been sharing those lessons. And so if you have missed any of those videos, I'm going to put the links to those videos thus far in the description box below this video. So make sure you go and check those out as soon as you can. So we're going to basically wrap this up today in this video, and I'm going to share with you three more lessons that my grandmother taught me that I think would be of value to you. And if it is, feel free to like, comment, and share this video. So, with that being said, let's dive in. So, one of the things that my grandmother taught me, because she lived to be 81, so she saw the world change a lot over her 81 years. And one of the things that she taught me was that many times the people you start out with, you're not going to finish with. You will outgrow some relationships, to make it specific. You will outgrow some relationships. And what do I mean? Sometimes getting the results that you crave means distancing yourself from people that don't serve your best interest. This allows you to make space for those who support you in being the absolute best version of yourself. And it happens gradually as you grow, as you evolve, and you will find out who you are and what you need. And then realize the people you've known for a while don't see things the way that you do. So you keep the wonderful memories, but find yourself moving on. And that's just the reality of it. And I'm thankful because I did a podcast last night with a guy that I've known since kindergarten. And earlier that day, I shot pool with my best friend, who's basically a brother from another mother, whose birthday is today, that he and I mutually know because both of us went to school with him. And he's actually known him longer than I have. But me and him have known each other for almost 28 years. We've known each other since freshman year of high school. And he's turned 42 today. So we're the same age. And so I'm grateful to say that I have relationships intact that span 2, 3, even 4 decades, because the guy that I do the podcast with, we've known each other since 1988. We met in the 80s, went to school in the 90s, linked back up in high school. We've known each other through the 2000s, the 2010s, and now it's the 2020s. And we're collaborating. We're business partners, and we're doing a weekly podcast together twice a week. And so our lives have changed dramatically since, growing up on the north side of St. Louis. But nevertheless, we find ourselves, our paths have crossed multiple times, and yet the friendship is still intact. The brotherhood is still intact. But that's something that I learned and became comfortable in my own skin about from my grandmother, that you will outgrow some relationships. Another thing that she taught me was you don't need anyone else's permission to listen to your intuition. And it's usually better to look back on life and say, I can't believe I did that, than to look back and say, I wish I did that. There are a lot of folks that deal with, if I could turn back the hands of time, I wish I would have did this, I wish I would have did that. And that symbols a sentiment of regret. And to be perfectly honest, there are some things that I feel that way about, just to be clear. And that's something that As I got older, I began to appreciate more. So I began to take more calculated risk, and life opened up to me. And I learned that just before, maybe a couple years before my grandmother died. And it's better to say I can't believe I did that than to say I wish I did that, because in the end, people will judge you in some way anyway. So don't live your life trying to impress others. Okay? Instead, live your life impressing yourself. Love yourself enough to never lower your standards for anyone. And that's saying something, because a lot of folks walk around living life without any standards at all. And then finally, one of the lessons that my grandmother taught me that I believe was invaluable was that endings often create beginnings to wonderful journeys. Sometimes it just pays to to put a period there and turn the page. And if you're looking for a happy ending and can't seem to find one, maybe it's time to start looking for a new beginning. Brush yourself off and accept that you have to fail from time to time. But it's a difference between failing because you're not even willing to try, and and failing forward. When you fail forward, you learn the lesson from the obstacle that you weren't able to overcome at that particular moment, but it made you better next go round. So learn how to fail forward, because that's how you learn. And the strongest people out there, people have always told me I'm a strong person. The strongest people out there, the ones with a genuine smile, because people sometimes criticize me and say, why don't you smile? But then when I do smile, they say it's like one of the best smiles they've ever seen. I don't just go around smiling all the time when I'm hurting inside. I'm not. People that smile all the time when they're hurting inside, they're actually wearing a mask, if you're not, if to be honest. And I've just never prescribed to that. But it is what it is. But the strongest people out there, the ones with the genuine smile, are often the same people who have fought the toughest battles. And they're smiling because they've decided they're not going to let anything or anyone hold them down. They're letting go and moving forward one step at a time. You don't learn that overnight. You learn that by going through the process, being willing to make certain mistakes and learning the lessons from them, and then being able to compartmentalize what's important. Because you don't always have to have the last word. You don't always have to tell everybody what's on your mind. And so that's something that I learned from my granny. So I wanted to share that with you all today. I hope that it was of value to you. If it was, feel free to like, comment, and share this video. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I upload new content. Thank you so much to those who have recently subscribed. Thank you so much to my day ones, my A1s who continue to rock with me. I appreciate each and every last one of you all. As always, in life, you have two choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses, but you most certainly cannot do both. It's yours truly, Arian Tyson, and I will talk to you on the next one. Peace.